What's up, everybody? I'm Doggie Diamonds. This is Doggie Diamonds TV. Today is part of the rundown that I want to do for y'all today. So I wanted to talk about DeHaven, Jay-Z. Should DeHaven still be speaking on Jay-Z in 2024? I see some grumblings on the internet, some comments from different platforms, different shows, different people saying that, he shouldn't be speaking on Jay-Z at this stage in the game. And I want to say I respectfully disagree with that. I think that's the man's story. If somebody asks him his story, he has the right to tell his story, just like everybody else. I don't think that us having our shows, our channels, and our different things that we doing, we have the right to police what somebody else talks about on another show. If said person asks them, they got a right to say what they want to say. If said person brought them on there and they ask them a question, they have a right to answer the question. If they're campaigning, somebody has the right to answer how they choose the answer. For example, if I go on CBS and tell a story, that means I can't go on NBC. That means I can't go on ABC. That means the story should stop with CBS. Years later, look how long they've been talking about what happened to Kennedy, what happened to Malcolm, what happened to Martin. Those stories are old, but nobody says, hey, we're tired of hearing this story. Nobody ever says Sammy the Bull shouldn't talk about John Gotti anymore. It's just us and our culture where we say what we tired of hearing and what somebody shouldn't say anymore. I want to bring something to your attention. So 6 years ago, I did an interview with DeHaven. You can see right here that it's not monetized. It wasn't monetized. I don't know why. YouTube just didn't monetize it for whatever reason. I don't know if it's something that we said in the interview that bothered them, but I put out a clip about the issue with Dame Dash that did 72,000 views. I also put out the line about him saying DeHaven caving that did 100,000, but the full interview did 90. Now, reason why this is important because I don't feel like he got his just due and he was able to fully tell his story the way that he should have been able to tell it based off of my titling. Reason why I titled it like this in the first place, because I had to deal with CBS at the time, and CBS told me, if you're doing a podcast, you cannot monetize clips. You have to monetize the full interview, but you have to name the full interview the way you would name the actual podcast. So I named it this. So people didn't really get the full context of what this was about. So I ended up losing views, and it also wasn't monetized. So I'm going to keep it real. I'm about to rename this and re-upload this and let y'all know, like, oh, this is what this was about. This is what's happening. Because when he went on the blue couch, he basically told the same story. Not much changed. But he told me some of those things 6 years ago, and I'm happy that he was able to get the couple of the million views that he got, because he should have got it here. But due to the politics of YouTube, you know how they do me and my channel, and the politics of what's going on, he wasn't able to achieve that. Also, he did a documentary. So he has the work to show the documentary that is just not a Jay-Z thing. And if you watch the documentary, which I did early on, I understand a little bit more. Another thing I wanted to say to you, so look for this video to be titled and re-uploaded. I'm definitely going to do that. So if you saw the full video, I appreciate you. If you didn't see it, look for the remix, because I'm definitely remixing my content. I wasn't able to earn off of it, and I should be able to earn off my content, and that's why I'm doing that. That's one of the reasons why I'm speaking about this as well. Also, reason why it's important that he tells his story, because he hasn't been cleared. He hasn't been cleared. His name is still synonymous with caving in and making statements. So until Jay-Z comes out and say, hey, the man didn't cave in, he didn't make statements, he's not a snitch, he's not a rat, you have to defend yourself. If you really knew the culture, if you really knew Jay-Z's lines, if you really knew what he was talking about, he talks about DeHaven a lot. So how DeHaven's not a rapper? So if you're walking around in society, whether you want to do documentaries now, if you want to do different things that you've been doing, If you allegedly invested in their company early on, now you're being written out of history. How do you rebut a man putting your name with a snitch jacket? How do you rebut a man putting your name with you made statements? Because every time you see the dude name, you say DeHaven caved in. So he has to do interviews to clear his name. And as long as Jay-Z left it out there that that's what this man did, he forever should speak on it. Anybody who asks him should speak on it. So we're not going to gatekeep who can speak on what and all that. Because at the end of the day, I don't really see too many people doing original interviews anyway. People are doing remix interviews, remix content that we already saw on other platforms, especially mine. But if you get a chance to holler at him, DeHaven cool as hell. You know what I'm saying? He will find a way to work out the business with you. He will find a way for y'all to make it happen so everybody can prosper from the content. Just like I hit him up. If you could see June 27th, I'm gonna show you right here, June 27th, this is when I first spoke to him. June 27th, we was on the phone, we did a FaceTime, and he came down and we did what we did. You know what I'm saying? So he's not untouchable, he's not unreachable. Very, very humble dude, considering where he was at in life and in the stature where he was in the life. Do I think he clout? I don't think he's clout chasing Jay-Z. I think Jay-Z immortalized him in a bad way. Let me give you another example. It was once upon a time, Taxstone went on Vlad TV, very big platform, and called me a cop. I had people coming in my comments, you a cop. I had even dudes that I know, I can't say I know them like that, but dudes that knew of me, that I knew of them, that knew better, that was saying, you a cop, you a snitch. And I'm like, how? What the hell are they talking about? Then I found out Taxstone said that. I got on the phone with Taxstone. We was able to speak, and I got him to understand some stuff. And what he did was, the very next time he opened his mouth, he cleared my name. So that was able to come off my name because he knew what he thought, what he was accusing me of had nothing to do with me. We'll leave the conversation we had between me and him, but he cleared my name. So until this man's name is cleared, and every time he opened his mouth, because he should be promoting, which he's doing, his documentary. Shout out to Industry Labs for filming the documentary and doing a great job at it. He has product. So he's going to go on a press tour promoting his product. If you didn't see the Marcy Made documentary, check it out. It's a dope documentary. It kind of explains a lot. And I could even name the lines where Jay-Z is talking directly about him. But if you know, you know. So of course he's going to talk. But we can't try to gatekeep who could talk about what, who should talk about what. That's not what our culture is about. Our culture is about stories. I started doing long form interviews in 2006, and it became the new wave of the culture. These stories, whether you heard them or not, it's up to you, the interviewer, to get a different side of the story, a different way to ask the questions. We can't get mad because it's the same interview. Again, we have people that have been telling the same story for 20, 30 years, and nobody says anything about it. So it looks kind of weird when a guy goes somewhere and does well, and then now we want to say, well, why you doing this? Freeway Ricky Ross been talking about Rick Ross since I interviewed him in 2007. He hasn't changed the story. We heard about the oodles and noodles. We heard about the CEO. We heard about all that. But nobody says to him, yo, why you talking about Rick Ross? The dude took his name. He's supposed to talk about him forever. Anytime he says Rick Ross, he has the right to speak on it. But it's up to us as the media to be clever and ask different ways to get different content out. Unless you don't know how to do it, people just want the same story. And don't front like people haven't been on platforms and you heard the story before and you ain't remixed the same story and was like, I just want it for my channel. People, come on, man. Everybody's been borrowing from everybody. Everybody sneaks, watch each other, and act like, oh, I didn't see that interview. Let's just let the culture. Let's just all feed off each other, work off each other. If he did well over here, you try to get some of that too. You know, if that's the case, then there wouldn't be no Charleston Whites on different platforms. Charleston White says a lot of the same thing, but it works for everybody who get it on the platform. It works for FYBJ Maine. It works for different guys who go on different platforms and they tell the same exact story. Whether it was Osino, whether it was Petey Crack, it's many people. Gene Deal's been telling the same story. It's different people that's been telling the same story, sticking to their story, and it's worked for the platform. Just try to get them on yours. Just try to get individuals on your platform. We can't say, all right, enough is enough, unless the person is lying. If the person is lying and we deem them a liar, then that's different. We all should say, hey, you ain't gonna be lying. That's disruptive culture. But other than that, man, let dudes do their thing. Like I said, I ain't even speak to DeHaven. I'm just doing this on my own because he a good dude. You know what I'm saying? Like a very, very humble guy. Again, I got political ties to Marcy, and you know, DeHaven is a good dude, and me and him has had plenty of conversations, and there's times where I was in crisis, and I called that dude, and he really, he looked out for me. Let's just say that, and not in a financial way or any help like that, but just mental, just somebody to talk to that's older than me, that I was able to run something by him that he already went through. And he was like, nah, do this, that, and the third. So instead of us trying to find things that we don't get along about or we upset about, try to get a dude on the phone. No attempts. Sometimes this is not meant for you to rock. But until Jay-Z clears the man's name, he got a right to speak forever because Jay-Z immortalized him in a negative way and left him out there to dry with everybody to think something about him. And imagine if somebody put something on your name of that stature and don't even say, you know what? Nah, I was tripping. I was mad at him. We seen Jay-Z make up with Nas. They done said all types of stuff about each other. We seen him reconcile with Beans. We seen him reconcile with Cam, Jim Jones, Fat Joe. All these people have said vile, foul things about each other. Until Jay-Z clears his name, he's supposed to say that forever. And another thing, he never has to prove, and his feet was never held to the fire. If he made statements and he was that important for you to put him in his rap, prove that he did that. He just had to say it. And I don't think that that's fair. I don't think that's fair for any of us. We don't have the right to make accusations about each other without proof. Where we do that at? So if I said person did this or that, or said person did this or that, I got to prove it. I can't just say, oh, you did this. And everybody say, yeah, you did this. Nah, that's not right. So until Jay-Z clears his name, until Jay-Z says why he said that, I would talk about him forever. I would kick his back in. I would tell the truth, tell my truth, tell the story forever. And how many people has a story that they could tell, many stories, about one of the biggest artists in the culture that wronged you? Would you do it? Some of y'all was telling them same stories over and over too before your narrative changed. So cut it out. Doggie Diamonds, man. This has been a rundown. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Yes, content. Until next time, peace.